Hi, Jen O'Brien here with a tutorial on how to complete the Fidacity business plan. So hopefully you've already gone through that training where I'm going to now put into practice what we talked about in the business planning course and walk you through the 6 tabs that are across the bottom here. And it's going to start with your financials. So if you haven't already done so, download that. Stop this if you need to. Download this, and I'm going to recommend highly that you upload it to the cloud. We recommend Google Drive. Why? Because you want to be able to access your business plan. It's a living, breathing document that you don't do one time and put away, as we mentioned in the training. We want you to work with it. It becomes your plan of what you're doing, not only to set your goals, but to track your activities and your success. Especially when I get to number 6, you're going to love the tab number 6, where you're tracking all your production and calculating all your numbers and not waiting to the end of the year to do it. So let's dive in and start with number 1, your financials. So as I mentioned, you need to have those numbers, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill some numbers in here. So I need $25,000 in business expenses that I've calculated from my budget for that. I need to be able to contribute $35,000. That's my goal for my household expenses and living expenses, and I have income coming in from someplace else, let's say. Here's the key. You want to put in, what is your profit? How much money do you want to clear after you've handled your expenses and paid your taxes? So for me this year, you know what? I'm just going to put in $99,000, okay? You can come back and play with this however you want. And then the next thing you're going to do is put in, do you want to budget something? Do you have a game plan for funding a retirement account or maybe taking a vacation? I'm going to go with $24,000 in here. All right, so I'm up to $183,000. We've calculated the cap because we're going to be calculating gross commission income in here, so it'll make sense in a minute why we're putting the cap in here. And now what I need to do is take a look. We're not going to be paying taxes on the cap. So out of $183,000, you have to estimate your taxes right now, just for the purposes of planning. So if I knew that I could have so much in deductions coming off and so forth, and then figure out what your tax bracket is, I'm just going to go ahead and put a number in here and say it's about $28,000 in taxes that I'm going to have to pay. So put your applicable numbers in here, and then just move to tab 2. You'll notice what happens in tab 2 is it puts those numbers from the first tab right in here. From step 1, they go right in here for you. And what we've got here is an annual gross commission income goal of $227,000. Now we're going to jump in and do the specifics for you, what your goals are. First thing you have to make a decision on is what percentage of your business is going to come from listings versus sales. Well, you know what? I am going to focus on my personal production being from listings this year. So I would like 80% of it to come from listings. So then it will do the 20% here. Take this number and do the calculations for you. The next thing you need to do is what's your average sales price. So again, I highly recommend that you stay conservative on this and put what your actual numbers are in your marketplace. Or if you've been in the business, you know what your numbers are, or if you've got a goal to move up. But if you're conservative in the way you calculate this, you'll definitely hit your goals, if not obviously exceed your goals. So, I'm going to go with a $380 list price, and I'm going to stay with this $350 sales price. The next thing you can do is change the commission percentage that comes in, because we need to figure out the gross commission. Again, I'm going to stay conservative and go 2.5, but you know what? I'm going to change this to 2.75. It's going to be a slight little change here, rounds it up to 2.8. Okay, put what you want in here, and now we're going to get the dollars commission per unit. Okay, all right. Now, because of figuring out the cap, I'm going to go ahead and use 100% in here, because we've taken into account the $16,000 that's going to go back in for your cap. The next thing you're going to do is put in if you are paying the transaction fee, and again, just estimate this, because as you know, you are not paying a transaction fee. You have the $65 in fees that are there for you, whatever the broker review fee is, and E&O risk management fee. You can calculate those, or just put a rounded number in here, because once you cap, you are paying the higher fee. So use a number that works for you. Now, if you're in a state like Nevada where you pass that on to the client, then you can make an adjustment there as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, just again, I'm going to be super conservative. I'm going to say $350. And then I have here's where you can put nothing here if you're not paying a TC fee out of your closings. But if you have an assistant and you're paying $200, per closing as an example, or maybe it's 150, right? Whatever the number is, put it in here. This is taking out from the commissions, it's taking into account the split and any fees that you need to take out per closing. All right, the last part of this is just to come in and let the spreadsheet do all the heavy lifting. We've already calculated it all out for you. The only thing you have to do here is put in, not 100% of your listings are going to sell, and close. Things happen. So put a number in here. I recommend 90 or maybe 85%. And then same thing with the buyer. Some things fall out, something can go wrong. You're not 100%. So somewhere between 80 and 95% is what I'd recommend in here. And what this simply says is if I want 80% of my business to come from listings so I can gross 227 this year with these other variables, I need 18.3 listings if everything I listed sold, but it's not. I'm going to say if there's a 15% fallout. So I need 21.5, 22 listings, which is basically almost 2 listings a month. There's 2 months that I don't have to do 2 listings. And over on the buy side, I literally need six buyers. So I need a buyer every other month. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now, the beautiful part about this spreadsheet is you can come back and simply change these numbers, which will then change these numbers. And then you can, it all goes from there. In tab 3, step 3, there's nothing you need to do here except for change how many number of weeks you're going to work this year. So if you're only taking 2 weeks off, and you could make this be 50, I'm going to stick with 48, and I'm calculating how many numbers of presentations in a minute, contacts I need to make, calls and connections I need to make so I can hit these numbers. So what it did, it pulled, I have to have 18 total listings sell. To be able to get 18 to sell, I got to take 21. The one other thing that I'd recommend that you take a look at for you personally is change your ratio of how many listings presentations you need to go on to get one that you're going to close and list. So this is a factor of many things. If you're new to the business, you might want to use 3. You have to go on 3 listing presentations so you get one. If you are getting majority of your business from your database, then maybe this is 1.5. Maybe you don't get every listing, but somewhere between 1.5 and 3 is the number I'm going to recommend. So you know what? I'm going to go with 2 for me today. And that means I need 43 annual listing presentations. I'm going to work 48 weeks. So in a nutshell, I need 3 to 4 listing presentations a month to hit this goal of taking 21 listings, so 18 of them close. And why I like doing these numbers and being conservative with the numbers is that, hey, if you take 21 listings and 20 of them sell, then you're going to blow away your goals, right? And you're going to do the same thing down here for buyers. What's your ratio? 3 to 1 is a good one. And this just means how many real prospective buyers do you need to get in front of so you can have one person work with you this year and close a deal. So I like 3 to 1 because this is like meeting people at an open house. For every 3 that you meet, you should be able to get a prospective person to work with you. So use your numbers in there. And these are not just buyers that you meet. These are people that you do a presentation with. You sit down and do a buyer consultation with. They're more serious. They're not just, yeah, I'm looking. Okay. And there you go. You move on to step 4. Step 4 now takes those presentations needed, 43 for sellers and 18 for buyers, meaning I'm sitting down doing a formal listing or buyer presentation, and breaks it down into what activities are you going to do. And then it takes it into account industry standard numbers for contact ratios when you're calling, door knocking, and so forth. So how you read this is, if you're making calls, cold, warm calls, whatever you want to do, you're calling around a just listed or a just sold as a strategy, or you're not FISBOs and expired, they're in here. So these will be calls because you've got like a list of specific calls that you're going to make in an area. Farming is really specific in your farming activity. Why it's a little less is because you're doing a lot of activities in your farm. So anyway, making phone calls and other strategies is 150. You got to make about 150 to get one lead. Okay, I know that sounds like a lot, 150 contacts. They can be texts, they can be calls, they can even be strategic emails and videos and other things. So what this does, don't let it overwhelm you. It says if I want 12% of my business for listings only to come from my calling activities, my geo calls and so on, then I need to make, based on these numbers, 16 connections weekly or 3.2 daily. Coming down here is Sphere. It's about a 50 to 1 connection, meaning touches and connections that you need to make on an annual basis. If I want 61% of my business to come from there, then I need to make 5.5 daily calls, or 27 calls, texts, connections, emails. All these things add up. Now, the last part I want to share with you is you basically need to take 100% of your listing business and break it down into these categories. So if I believe that 70% of my business is going to come from sphere and past client activities, you see how it's at 109%, then you need to do, make the applicable changes. You're assigning a percentage of your business based on these different target markets. So if this is going to be about 10% this year, I'm still at 100, I'm still at 4, so I'll take it off of here and say 8% is going to come from calls. And now I can look at the numbers and I can put these into my action plan, which we'll do next. And you're going to do the same thing down here for buyers. You can change these categories. You may have to do a little research. You see you have room for other, and use a number of like 50 or 100 to 1 to do these calculations. All right, let's move into the action plan. The action plan pulls your presentation goals based on your previous steps. All right, and then it's an opportunity for you to just use this as a tracker. This should look familiar if you did the orientation and the welcome to the course module. I went through the real estate tracker and setting your goals for this program. So here in your business plan is just another area for you to use this. And this is what makes the business plan, this in the next tab, make this business plan something for you to be looking at daily, weekly, obviously doing your quarterly tune-ups. But here you can set your goals, right? You can set your goals for listings taken, escrows closed, and then come down and track your daily activities. You got that 1 to 2 hour power lead generation. Are you doing it? How many calls and texts or conversations and so on? Change what these activities are and track them. There should be some zeros in here because you should be at least having 1 to 2 days off as well. And then there's one other area to be able to track weekly results, right? Just use this. This is where you'll track your numbers. You can duplicate this spreadsheet. You could print this out and carry this around with you if you wanted to, but we just put one in here for you for now. And the last sheet is, to me, the fun sheet here. This is where it all comes together. And if you do this as it happens and not wait till the end of the year to try to come figure this all out, you do it as you go. A couple things are happening for you. Number one, you're seeing your results. You're knowing your numbers at any given time. And then, most important to me, as a trainer and coach, is that when the time comes at the end of the year to start working on your business plan for the new year, you have a document to start with that's going to give you everything that you need that I covered in the business planning on things like what's your average sales price and so on. You're going to be able to do it. So let me jump in and show you how cool this is and how it works for you. Little key code. Active listings are blue, in escrow under contract is orange, and green is closed, of course. Okay, so you can see them up here. I want to show you how you can clear these contents and make it your own once you use this, but it's useful to have it in here. So let's go ahead and say we took a new listing. All right, so my new seller's name is Sarah, and you know what? She's from my O'Brien farm. There you go. And I'm going to say farm for here. We haven't closed it yet, so we're not going to put a date in. That's later, where we can just kind of track our closing dates. You could put your projected closing dates when you're under contract. And she's over at 4321 Paradise Lane, right? It's not closed. A Y or an N is important for tracking buyers and sellers and stuff later for you, but right now just nothing there. And she's going to be a seller. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in what the list price is. So my list price was $645. I have a 3% co-op coming, and you can see that it starts to calculate the numbers. There's no referral. Let me get this back up here. Is there a referral amount? Put the amount in here if there's a referral. So if this came from an agent, you'd put the amount in here so it would calculate. So let's say that I was paying at 10%, just to do the math really quick. So it would be 1935, right? 1935, and then you can see it would calculate. All right, so I'll stick with that. If you are still on the cap, you can change this to at 80%. So let's say that for now I can do it at 80, and then I can change it to 100 once I'm capped. All right, and then here is where later you'll track your transaction or TC fees or anything else that you're coming out of your commission. Do that when it goes to closing. You can do it now if you wanted to too, and maybe I will do it right now. So I'm going to have 200, and then I have three. Or right now I'll say it's 65 because it's what's coming out of my commission because I'm not capped yet. All right, so you notice it's not turned green yet. What makes this turn green, not green, green is for close, blue for active listing, is to put this 645,000, this sales volume, over here in the listing volume area. Watch what happens. I'm going to go 645,000, and it will turn this blue. Why is it not turning it blue? Yeah, there we go. I just had to hit tab. Okay, so you just tab out of it. All right, and then because I put it here, it's saying right now, it's doing a couple things. It's keeping me color coded so I know my blues are my listings. It's also tracking my volume right down here. All right, so now I sell, we negotiate the sale of the listing, and it's now going to be in escrow under contract. All I have to do is come in. I could put now the estimated closing date is going to be, 3/21, for example. Not closed yet, still a seller. All I have to do is to turn this orange is to grab what this commission is going to be, the closed net that's going to be to me, which is 17,415, and I have to put it, not closed, I keep wanting to close this deal before it's ready. I need to come to this escrow column, and I'm just going to put the number in there, the 17,415, and it turns it orange. Beautiful, right? Now it's tracking what I have in escrow. It's tracking my volume. I can change the price here. Let's say it sold for $650. It sold over list price. I can change that right here, which obviously would change my commission, so you have to come back and make all those calculations. Actually, you don't have to do anything. We just change it here as well, and it will calculate properly, okay? And that 17,565 is a manual entry here, but you get the idea. Super easy to use, and it's color coded, and it keeps everything tracking. So what I have in escrow, what's currently all commissions, if everything was to close, is in here. Your actual closed net's in here, and that's the final thing that turns it green. So once I now take, basically what you do is you take that 17,565, take it out of here, and put it into 17,565 green, and now we have it closed. Now we can come in and put the close date, and then we can say yes to closing. I want you to see what happens when I do yes to closing right here. It now takes my greens, puts it all together for close units and volume, and it's starting to track my close units. I've always got my estimated production. I've got close units, volume, my average sales price, which is awesome. And then it's also telling me what I have scheduled to close and what's closed plus escrow. It's just an awesome spreadsheet. The last two columns that are here, you can choose to use them as well. And it's simply to help you track what you have coming in dollars this month and next month. So, if I wanted to be able to say, this is an escrow, just so that I can have it, if you have a ton of escrows going on and you just want to get a quick glance of that, you can simply just use this column to say this month and then next month, and you'll get a sense of what dollars are coming up for you, okay? So it's the ultimate virtual whiteboard, right? Your production board. But in the old days, we used to put those things up, and some of you may still be doing that. You put this stuff visually up in your home office or work office, but now you don't need to do that. You can even print this out, but you want to definitely have it up in the cloud somewhere, and you need to do it as it's happening. And you, as a true business owner, when the next time somebody says to you, how many deals have you closed this year and how much volume have you done this year, you'll be able to track it very easily. And as I mentioned, when it's time to do business planning, which I always recommend in October, you can see exactly how you're doing. You can analyze the numbers, you can make adjustments and set goals for the new year. That's it, folks. That is your Pedacity business plan. Please take the time to use this and let this be a document that helps you run your business as a true business. Thank you.